Casey, what was the hardest part about being away the last few weeks?
Watching from the sideline. That wasn't easy. Not being able to strap up and practice for a few weeks is not easy. Really just watching the game from the sideline and even from home. And the hardest part was the first. I think we played against when the team went to Michigan, and then we played against Minnesota at home. That was my first time ever in college not being on the travel squad, so that was new for me. They were like Friday night after meetings and stuff, you can go home. So that wasn't fun. I didn't really know what to do, so kind of just watch TV, watch film. And then, not being with the team, coming to the stadium, those couple games that I was out was the hardest part. And then the hardest part is finding the balance of leadership, but also letting those other guys, take some ownership, Chubb and Logan, when I'm out. So when I go out to practice and when I'm on the sideline, I still try to encourage and be a leader to the offense and to the rest of the team, because I feel like that a true leader has value even if they're not participating. So that was the hardest part, but just not being in the fight, not being in the bunker with the rest of the team and the rest of the guys. But other than that, I guess I just try to stay positive. I focused on treatment and rehab, and I got back as soon as possible. I was trying to tell Mickey, every week I can practice, I can go. And, they just had to make a decision and say, no, we want you to stay out, and we don't feel comfortable putting you back there. So I thought I was going to be ready to go last week. I threw like last Wednesday or Thursday, and I wanted to make the trip to Michigan, and I wanted to play in that game. And then over the weekend, I was still having some problems and stuff, with my arm and elbow and my nerves and stuff like that. So I think we played at the right timing and we made the right decision. But the hardest part was just not playing, for sure.
When did you get the feeling like back in your pinky year? I guess when did you feel like you, again, after not being able to feel?
I still don't have complete. I don't have complete feeling in my pinky or the bottom side of my hand. So basically, these two fingers and all this right here kind of goes numb and tingles a little bit, but I have full strength and motion back. It's just something that's going to take time. I think we played Illinois on October 29th, and at halftime I didn't have feeling in it. I didn't have any movement for, I think I got the movement back after 4 or 5 days. I started to be able to move my fingers. And then I actually had an elbow contusion, which was a bone bruise and a lot of swelling and stuff. And that took about a week or week and a half to go away. And I don't know, this past week, I went in there on Monday and I said, I'm practicing this week and I'm going to play. I mean, if I sit around and wait for my arm or my body to feel perfect, I think the season would be over at that point. So I'm just going to continue to rehab and get treatment and push through. Like I said, throughout the season, I've pushed through a lot of stuff, and I know, just looking around at the locker room, there's guys on the scout team, there's guys, freshmen, redshirting, seniors, everyone's banged up. People have ankles and hamstrings and knees and shoulders and elbows, and so I just figured that, because of my love of the game and because of my love for this team, I wanted to come back and play.
You were the leading rusher today for you guys, so that means that the run game, the normal run game where you just hand it off, wasn't going very well. What did you see when you would hand the ball off to Anthony most of the time?
When I was handing it off to AG, I felt like that, the best thing he could do was try to get north and south and stick his foot in the ground. Running lateral against teams like this is not going to be good. But there were a couple. We had opportunities for big plays. There were some gaps, and I think that he could have creased a few of them. But those, you could tell that the Wisconsin players are definitely strong, and they had a lot of size on them. So it was just hard for him to run through those arm tackles. But like I said, I didn't see a whole lot throughout the day. But there was a few times where I thought he'd break it big and maybe score a touchdown or pick up a big game. But he's doing a good job. He's doing the best that he can. And I didn't come into this game planning on running that much, but when they're only rushing 3 or 4 or 5 people and they're dropping the linebackers out, and I'm looking downfield and I'm like, oh shoot, there's nobody right there in the middle of the field in front of me, so I just take off and I pick up 5 to 10, whatever I can get, and try to be smart about taking hits. And I kind of know from playing football for a while, like having a good feel and instincts of like when to slide and when to fall forward and stuff like that. So I usually just know how to fall with the hits, and that way I'm not taking the direct shots and kind of draw some penalties. So I felt good, and I felt in rhythm today. And like I said, Anthony Grant is doing a good job as well.
Casey, I know you have how important is it in a game like this to be able to have a running game that you can rely on?
Yeah. Well, in the Big Ten especially, this conference has taught me a lot. It's a lot different than the Big 12. There's a lot of possessions in the Big 12, but in the Big Ten, I mean, there's good defenses and there's really good running backs and running games. And I mean, Wisconsin, all they did was they ran the ball. I think they threw the ball like 1 or 2 times in the whole first quarter. So when you play against a team that is going to run the ball a lot and they want to manage the clock and they have a good running back and a good running game, it's also important for us to be able to sustain drives. I wouldn't necessarily say it has to be 100% on the ground, but we just have to get first downs and move the chains. And we did a good job of that. I think they had almost double our plays, but we were still winning the whole game. So that means we were more efficient with less plays. But especially throughout the third and fourth quarter, a long game like that, it's important for us to have a run game. I mean, it all starts and ends up front with the offensive line, and we have to be able to sustain drives. And whether it's a run or pass play, we got to be able to, like I said, just get first downs and put more points on the board.
Casey, I know you have time to decide this, and there's a lot unsettled, but since you walked today, the senior day, just where's sort of your mind at with that, I guess, right now?
Yeah. Well, this is my 5th year, but last year Texas was my 4th year, and I graduated with my undergraduate degree last year, and I contemplated walking or not, not knowing what I was going to do, and because I was technically a senior, and I ended up not getting a lot of the senior benefits and some of the stuff, like they're just now like sending me my Letterman jacket and my T-ring and my diploma and all that stuff. So I'm graduating with my master's in a few weeks in December, and this will be my 2nd degree. And like I said, with the season still going on, and with a lot of uncertainty right now, I just thought it was best to go ahead and walk on senior day and then just take my time after the season to evaluate everything and see where my head is at and kind of see what the situation is and everything going on around me. But this doesn't mean I'm 100% leaving, doesn't mean I'm 100% staying. I'm just going to wait till kind of postpone it to the end of the season and make my decision then. Like I said, there's a lot of different factors and things that go into play with that. But technically, I am a senior, so I wanted to walk on senior day and experience that in Memorial Stadium. And then, like I said, if I happen to be back, and then I'll walk again next year. So there's really not too much thought process that went into it. It wasn't like a tactic or anything. It's just because I'm a senior, and we had 30 or 31 seniors walk, and a lot of us still have eligibility remaining. So we might have a lot of guys come back, but that was just my decision to partake in senior day here in Nebraska.
Casey, I was just going to ask, how do you think you played today?
Well, I mean, first game back, I had a great week of practice. I was throwing the ball really well, scrambling, running, using my legs at practice, and I don't know. I wanted to come out today and compete. Really positive on the sideline with my teammates, and I took care of the ball today. I mean, I made some plays with my legs, made a lot of good plays throughout the game. But I mean, we have to be better on third down on offense, and we have to be able to put more points on the board. That starts with me, and I know I'm the quarterback, and I'm going to take the blame if we win or lose. So, like I said, I think I played a pretty good game and did a good job taking care of the ball. But at the end of the day, we didn't win the game, and we have to put more points on the board. So, I'm going to reevaluate myself and the rest of the offense, and I take all ownership and accountability for that as well.
All right.
Thank you, guys.